48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act has been met as notice of this meeting was emailed on January 28, 2026, and published in the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the Coaster. A copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the Borough office, and a copy has been filed with the Borough Clerk. Mr. Bagley?
Here.
Chair Cohen?
Here.
Councilman Carp?
Here.
Ms. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Mayor?
No, Maynard? What is the Maynard?
No,
Oh,
Mayor.
Mayor's here.
Mr. Maynard is excused this evening. Councilman Nowicki?
Here.
Ms. Saracen?
Here.
Mr. Wishbone?
Here.
Mr. Warnett is excused. Ms. Leahy?
Here.
Mr. Frederick?
Here.
And Mr. West.
Here.
And also present this evening, Anne Marie Rizzuto, our board attorney, Michael Shaprai, our board engineer, and Christine Bell is not going to be here this evening.
Okay. Welcome and thank you for attending the July 16th meeting of the Bradley Beach Land Use Board. The board will observe a 10 p.m. time limit with no new applications or new testimony started after 10 p.m. without polling the full board. If an application is not completed during a meeting, the continuation date will be announced by the board attorney. We'd like to maintain a civil environment for this public hearing and request no calling out from the audience. Everyone will be given the opportunity to be heard. After the board and its professional staff have completed asking questions of a witness, the meeting will be opened up to the public for questions only of that witness. This will be the time for questions only and not for comments. If you have a question, please raise your hand. I will acknowledge you to come forward. Before asking your question, please state your name and address and spell your last name and direct all questions to that witness. If a person from the public is represented by an attorney, he or she must speak through that attorney. All attorneys should register their representation with the board at the start of this hearing. After the board and its professionals have finished questioning the applicant, and before the board takes any action on the application, I will open the meeting to the public for comments. This will be a time to speak on the application. The same procedure I previously described for questions is followed. All members of the public who wish to make a comment will then be sworn in by our board attorney. Please be aware, the applicants and attorneys have the right to cross-examine any members of the public who make comments. Written statements, letters from individuals who are not present, petitions, or speaking on anyone's behalf is not allowed under NJSA 40:55D-10. Written statements from the public cannot be accepted as they cannot be cross-examined. Public participation in this meeting will assist the board in making decisions. We hope that this public hearing and your attendance will be a rewarding experience for all, and thank you for participating in the process. So, first up, we're doing the resolution.
Yes, that's on the agenda for the first matter. I just want to add to the council members officially on the record. I know the resolution came out late. I'm very sorry for that. I did work hard to capture everything that I needed to capture, which wasn't evident until we actually had the hearing, that we had more signs than we thought. And I did receive confirmation from the attorney for the applicant and the applicants themselves, which included the gentleman that owns Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, and the woman that owns Hair Love, that everything in the resolution is acceptable and accurately confirms what signs exist, what the sizes of those signs are, and what the variances are. So we're clear that the variances were laid out in our board engineer, board planner report, and the way that I described each of the signs is accurate. And the conditions in the resolution, which include some how we handle future owners, that they have to come back to this board or apply for a new sign that complies with the, we're granting an ordinance, we're granting a variance for that applicant, for that sign. If it's a different business in the future, they need to have a compliance sign, or they need to come back to the board and ask for a new variance. So that's the way I wrote the conditions, if you guys had a chance to read them. And did anyone have any question on any part of the resolution? Okay. So, here we go.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we, I'm sorry, do I have a motion?
Motion for approval.
I'll second it.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Mayor. Ms. Mahoney,
Yes.
Ms. Saracine,
Yes.
Mr. Bagley,
Yes.
Mr. Wishbone,
Yes.
Councilman Nowicki,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
and Chair Cohen.
Yes.
And all of those members were present during the
Correct.
hearing and therefore eligible to vote. Thank you very much for that one. It was a little bit difficult. And Mr. Chair, I did already mention to you before, but we have a change in the order of business for tonight's
So
meeting.
item A will now move below item C, and we'll start with item B, land use board 26.
Can we take care of the minutes first?
Pardon?
Get the minutes,
Oh, yes.
get those out of the
Oh,
way
yeah.
before we forget, and then, they were very brief. So do I have someone, eligible to make the motion to adopt?
Oh, let me also just tell the board, so you know. We had a closed session at the last board meeting, and the minutes have been prepared. I will review them, and they will be, since they are a closed session, they're not subject to Oprah. They will be voted upon by the board when I'm done reviewing them, and they will be put into a separate book of minutes. You know, I don't know if we keep a book of minutes, but the closed session has to be separated from regular public meeting, and it will not be available to the public
Till the end of
until
that proceeding.
the end of that proceeding. That's correct. So we will have them at some
So
point.
this is on one page. I can vote on this one, right?
Yes,
Yes, you can.
yes,
What is it? What are we voting on?
This is the minutes that were not the closed session minutes.
right.
We'll
The
vote on
regu-
the
the regular
closed session.
meeting that was held in public.
Make a motion for approval.
Second.
Ms. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Bagley,
Yes.
and Mr. Wishbone,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
and, Mr. Frederick,
Yes.
Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just one other point of order, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
We're gonna hold the first two hearings, for the two matters, and the third one will be for, 406 Second Avenue, Ms. Duger and Ms., I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Ms. Ades. And Mr. Chafee can be excused from that one because we're only going to discuss the state of the notice.
So that's just a determination.
Yeah, that's just an argument. I'll talk with the two applicants, confirm some things that they and I have been discussing.
Sure.
And then we'll have a presentation for you. I don't think we need a full-blown hearing, but we certainly don't need the board engineer to stand. So he can be released at that point.
Yeah, is there a World Cup game tonight?
Well, the other issue,
Obviously.
we have is that, our vice chair has to recuse himself from 310 Third Avenue,
Okay?
and we're gonna lose our two councilmen, because it's a use variance.
Oh, right. So which one is that? The second one, right?
That's the one that's currently listed last,
Okay.
because we were losing people.
Okay, so for the clerico, 310 Second Avenue, the two council members will recuse, and the third member who has a conflict, I guess?
Yeah, he was.
He's
noticed.
within 200 feet.
Oh, you're within 200 feet. Oh, who is it?
Dennis,
You? Okay,
Vice
so
Chair.
he'll
Okay.
recuse two. 3 recused members.
So we'll still have 8 members.
We'll still have 8 members that
for
are
the use
eligible.
variance.
Okay. Okay, very,
I just have a question on this rearrangement.
Yeah.
The, 406 Second Avenue.
Yeah.
Are we voting or not voting on the applicant?
No, we're not doing the
Because I'm
application.
leaving for that.
Sorry.
I won't be here for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
fine.
If you wanted to come back, you could, but
Yeah,
if you
there'll
don't
be no-
wanna come back, it's fine.
There'll be no vote taken on that.
There's not a vote on the application. There
Okay.
is a discussion about notice, and there may be a vote about the notice or a determination of what we're gonna do about the notice. But that's it. So if you're curious, come back.
Alrighty, so we'll have the item B on the agenda, Land Use Board 26-05, bulk variance for a fence in the front yard where prohibited. Matthew and Juliana Baxick, block 80, lot 12, 27.5 Atlantic Avenue. Applicant is seeking a variance to permit the installation of a 4-foot-high fence in the front area where fences are prohibited in front yards. So if the applicant is here, if they could come up.
Come on up.
Make yourself comfortable.
You can have a seat in these two chairs here.
And then we're gonna help you. Chair will help you.
And do you have no professionals, no,
No, it's just this.
just you, okay, okay. So if you'd like to begin presenting,
They have to be sworn in.
I
Yeah.
have to be sworn in, yes.
So raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And your full name for the record, please?
Leon Bassett.
Okay. Spell the last name.
B-A-C-Z-Y-K.
And you, sir?
Matthew Bazik.
Okay. B-A-C-Y.
B-A-C-Z-Y-K.
Thank you. Just so you know, the microphones are recorded,
Okay.
so you hear me with my big
Yes.
noise. You need to make sure you project so that you are properly recorded. There is a recording of this, that's the official record of this board. And of course, you know it goes up on YouTube too, so you'll be YouTube stars. There you go.
Yeah, so that'll be the record
Yes.
for the hearing. You know, whoever would like to present.
Yeah, you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, great. So we originally filed for a fence permit earlier this year. We were denied because of the new, I believe, the new rule that went into effect a year or two ago. It was under the premise of the Fair Housing Act with our oldest daughter, Monroe, who currently has an IEP at Ramsey Education School for ADHD and being tested for autism. So she's had examples of eloping, which is, running off. And there's a genuine concern. We have 3 girls, Monroe being the oldest, that they're going to dart into the street, especially Monroe. So just under the Fair Housing Act, which is cited in the documents, it states that we would have rights to a hearing around the variance and an opportunity to revisit that. The other thing I'll note is the lot is tiny. It's a half a lot, so it's an unconforming lot, which I don't know if it actually plays into this particular variance, but just citing that.
And
Yes, I believe that would be your hardship for meeting the yard. You
Yes.
don't have every-
well, there is no backyard.
Correct.
Right,
That would be the
Why
hardship.
don't you purchase?
Yes, sorry, that was the part of it was that there's no usable space or outdoor space for the children to be out in without them being safe. And we purchased it, I want to say in October of 2025.
And my question is going to be about your submission, because we've run across this a lot.
Okay.
You put together a very nice package, so
Thank you.
having no professionals, this is really good work.
Appreciate it.
But the survey I find to be a little bit problematic,
Okay.
because it appears, based on where your red line is, and the other board members have followed along, the fence is proposed in the survey to actually be in the right of way.
In
So,
the-
yeah, you
It's
see,
not on your property.
it's not on your property, so,
Is that TV not working?
and we'll have Michael confirm that, but based
Oh,
on
this
what's
one,
drawn
yes.
here.
We can't,
It's
there's
not working.
an issue with the splitter, we
Alright.
can't.
Does this move a little
You
bit?
can push it back.
Is it the bold black line represents?
He's talking about this section over here.
Yeah.
You see it?
Mm-hmm. So the fence would be better if it was moved back?
Yes,
Well,
towards
you know,
Third House.
Was the intent to put it on top of the retaining wall?
No.
Okay.
No, its
Just to-
intent is probably
the
2 feet
front.
behind it because we need the support for the fence and not to interfere.
But yeah, as long as you understand, that would be rejected because it's in the right of way, so you really have to move it back.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I understand. Yeah.
Apologies for the submission.
And then, so is that the limits of the fence, just the east-west and the north-south in the front, and that's
There
it?
is, well,
There's an existing fence on the left.
Okay.
closer to block 80. Yeah.
Is there a
Yes.
fence in between the, because I had
There is
walked
an
by.
existing fence here, 6-foot
Yeah.
vinyl.
Correct.
By the corner of the house on the north side, where it says 5'3"?
Yes, exactly.
Michael, can you zoom in on that at all?
Yeah, we make that bigger.
Yeah, where's the?
We don't need to see the street.
See where?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, right where it says,
5.3.
no, go down.
Down 5'3", yeah.
So between, because that's where the corner of the 6-foot vinyl fence is right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's in between the red line and the
Yeah.
existing fence?
Bushes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah,
Yeah,
right there, bushes.
Where his pointer is,
There you
yeah.
go.
bushes, yeah.
So you can't get through the bushes?
So whenever you go all the way
They're
up-
asking why you're not
Yeah,
continuing the
we-
fence.
why
on this
would
corner.
you continue
Excuse
that
me,
whole way?
excuse me,
Sorry.
we cannot have multiple people speaking at the same time because it will screw up the record, one at a time.
I apologize.
So was a board member speaking?
Yeah, no, I was just curious as to why the fence didn't continue on from where the end of the red line to the corner of the fence.
Which would be where the designation of 5.3 setback,
Right, that's the corner
side
of the
yard
fence.
setback is
Submission error.
along lot 11.
You know,
And the answer is, why didn't you extend it?
Submission error.
You do want to extend it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so,
so we should reflect that
okay.
in documents that it will extend back to.
Are those bushes on your property or is it on the adjacent property?
Adjacent.
So you'd be putting on your property in front of the bushes?
Correct.
Correct.
And that existing fence that runs further back, is that your fence or is that the neighbor's fence?
I believe it's ours, and I would love to replace it.
Looks like it's
Well,
on the
currently it's
neighbor's.
on their property.
Yeah, it's on the neighbor's property.
Mhm.
And you don't know whose fence it is?
I believe it is ours because it's connected to the gate that connects to our house.
But if you wanted to do something with that, why didn't you put that in your application?
The kids' safety is truly our priority, so if
Okay.
that would hold us back, then we can just.
Well, I would have to probably say that you would have to amend your complaint, and we have to make sure you're not generating any other variances, and you have to start over next month, anything like that could happen presumably. Unless you want, the board would be willing to entertain a change in this to have the fence on that side replaced. I mean, I think it, I don't know, what would your
Well, I mean,
recommendation?
I'd like to see it, you know, before the resolution is read, a revised site plan reflecting the change. I mean, if we're gonna grant the variance,
Yeah.
I'd like it to be reflected on a document, so that can be, part of the record.
Or you can
Is
stick
this-
with
this
what
is
you
sufficient?
presented,
Correct?
or they can stick with what they presented.
Yeah, I mean, does what you present, does that meet your goals?
So, would a resubmission significantly delay the,
No, I mean, if it's approved, we'd make a motion that you would have to resubmit before the resolution is read.
so we would love to.
And we would acknowledge that document in the resolution.
That'd be great. Yeah, I was only asking because I'm trying to get it approved as soon as possible.
I think it's also important that gap where you have the bushes right now, since it's not on your property, if you don't continue it on, you know, your neighbor could remove the bushes and then you'd have this big gap. It's the same reason, like if you have a pool and your neighbor has a fence, it's like, no, that's not good enough. You need your own fence around the property.
And then a quick question, on the other side of the lot, is there a fence along there?
There's a fence that is right where the cursor is right now. There's an existing fence right there. It's about maybe 4 feet long, 4 feet high.
And it's marked on this document, which I think is the survey, vinyl fence.
4-foot vinyl.
And I don't see a North Star. Is there a North Star on this document? Okay. So what side is that? Where the 4-foot vinyl is?
That would be on the south side.
Okay. So that's an existing fence, you don't need any changes there?
Is there a gap? Like, could you walk around that and leave the property through the neighbors next door?
Where the cursor is.
Yeah.
Where the cursor is?
In the resubmission, we probably should just put it a few feet back to reflect that.
And possibly replace it entirely?
Yes.
If we put in.
Is there a gap? Yes or no? I guess that's, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm curious about, like, how far does that fence go with that?
The answer is yes, there's a gap, but currently there's a bunch of plants there that we have not removed yet.
Got it, thank you.
And also that fence looks like it's on your neighbor's property.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just as the other one, so
Yeah.
before we allow somebody to remove a fence that's not on their property, we should probably get that resolved.
Before we do that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chair, I think we can have them specify what they want to change, but I don't think we can vote until we see the change. If that's going to be, it sounds to me like we need to see what they're doing versus resolution compliance because we're agreeing to a change.
I would think we could state what they're doing, but
Okay.
require that they submit a revised site plan.
But you said before the resolution is approved, that's a
Yeah.
problem, because
Well,
if
we'll
if
put
they
it in-
come,
We'll put it in the record.
but
and-
you've
and-
already voted at that point. What if
No,
a board member?
someone will make a motion
Yeah,
reflecting that they submit a revised site plan showing the approved fence
okay,
on the north and south sides also,
Okay.
and not in the right of way, because that's flawed right now.
Okay.
I can't vote yes.
so in other words, these are conditions that are going to be
Yes.
required in the resolution. You need to, which we generally do a month from now, you need to make a submission that we can review. And if there's any change to the resolution, we'd have to reopen the hearing. So as long as we vote and it's written correctly and their document that's submitted shows that, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine, we can do that,
Okay.
yeah,
Actually, I just want to express that.
yeah.
If you're gonna put that fence in, and I understand your hardship and the reasons why you want to do that, but if those other fences aren't yours, and your neighbors take them down, and us giving you a variance to put that little piece of fence in wherever, would defeat the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. And so I think, like for myself, I would have a hard time just approving that red line, even if you moved it, because I'd be like, well, what are you gonna do about the sides? How's that connecting to the house? How are you securing the area to meet your goal for safety for the children? When that could change, and then we give you a variance for something that isn't complete. And so, and again, and it could be an eyesore to neighbors, because you have different kinds of fences, and so we'd like to see for me, I would like to see, a consistent, consideration of a consistent fence tying back to the house with appropriate gates and whatnot, so that it's a final condition and you're accomplishing your goal.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
We would have the, we were not open to the public at this point, Ms.
I have, so the fence, how high are you proposing? What is the fence height you're proposing, and then based on the elevation of the other fences, will that be continued to the endpoints, or?
There's a picture on
It's also roughly,
Where are you going?
That is it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go down, that, too far, no,
Oh,
right there, July
July
16th
16th, there you
today.
Photo exhibit, which one is
Proposed
yours?
fence and gate regulations.
That's the one we want.
Yeah.
so what is the height of that?
so the idea is the fence is 4 feet, and then the retaining wall is roughly 2 feet, which would be a combined 6 feet from the sidewalk.
So this is not an accurate drawing, then, 'cause
No,
that's like a
this is
2-foot
showing
fence.
about a 2-foot fence.
Yeah.
Your retaining wall is 20 inches. I measured this.
Okay, so a little bit less.
A little bit
That's
less.
the representative fence that you want to use, that's what I understand.
It's gonna be a little bit higher though. The fence are showing here, the height is.
That layout, that
Yes.
material,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, we have ordered fencing with other companies, and yes, our exact fencing is what I was looking for, and I believe it was put in for a 4-foot fence.
Yeah.
With,
All right.
with a gate in order to just make sure it's locked and closed. That's really my, and I understand it would just need to make sure it looks aesthetically pleasing and beautiful on both sides of it.
Would, a reasonable accommodation be a 3-foot
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I need to just for the
4'8" inches. Let's get pretty little, sorry.
Okay,
4'8". Yeah.
Mike, you said you measured the retaining wall at
Yes,
the
I went out
property.
there, they actually saw them this morning.
Okay, please tell me what the retaining wall height is?
I don't know if I would classify it as a retaining wall due to it only being 20 inches, but the wall is 20 inches.
So what would you call it?
What do you call it, a landscape wall?
That works.
Okay,
So
so.
when you're doing retaining walls, usually you're dealing with 3 foot more, and it's more permitting and such, and
Okay,
I don't want to open that can.
Is it
Right.
holding back dirt? Can they
Yeah.
take the wall down?
No.
Okay, so then it's a retaining wall.
Is your yard up to the top
Yes.
level of the wall?
Correct, it is. It had bushes above that little wall, which we manually took down ourselves, and it looks like it had a mixture of sand and dirt. And we were just gonna remove the planting and just make it like pretty and flat.
okay, on this document that's entitled Proposed Fence and Gate Rendering, which was submitted as part of the application, I see a smaller fence with posts, and then I see a large, what appears to be a gate. So the smaller fence depiction is what we are talking about for most of your fence, 3 feet or less. Is that accurate?
That's correct. And then the gate would technically be larger because it would be starting at the level of the sidewalk.
Okay, so it'll be the same style of fence, but it'll be taller. How tall will that fence be?
But putting the gate at the sidewalk would be in the public right of way.
Right.
So you would probably,
Yeah.
you'd probably want a gate more like this one, which would be at the back, which would be on your
We
property.
can do that.
Correct.
Yeah, that
And I'll
would
do
be-
that in the render.
In which direction would that gate open? Out to the right of way or to your property?
Because this one's not on, this is on the public right of way. And this would be on there.
Could be either. If it doesn't violate it by pushing it in, I can
No,
do
there,
that in the
just
submission.
a real question, you're showing the steps going from your, it's hard to see, like the porch down to the right of way.
Mhm.
So now you're gonna push the gate back from the right of way onto the steps. This doesn't work. I don't know where this gate's gonna,
There's 2 sets of steps.
that's not in there.
This picture, I just
So there's a landing in between
This
Exactly.
This doesn't show it, so it's hard to.
Do you want me to pull up the
I
survey again?
apologize.
The survey doesn't show it.
Yeah,
It's,
that's
under
all
there,
looking
it's tough to see. You'll see,
at my keys.
this right here, you kind of have the wall here, and this gets up to grade, and then you go up to the house from here.
So halfway up the
So
stairway.
your gate
on
would be
the
here.
landing.
This kind of has the wall, and they kind of have their post probably here to here.
So it's a flat,
It's,
flat,
yeah, it's flat from here to here.
it's not a step, it's an actual,
Well, see where my mouse is right here?
yeah,
This would be the grade of the yard. So they could put a post here and here.
and that's where the gate's gonna go.
Yeah.
And that's where the fence will be moved back.
They would probably have to just hook the fence in a little bit. and
L
then-
shape, yeah.
And then the gate would have to open towards the street.
Yeah, because you would hit the
Hit the
steps going up to the
steps,
house.
yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't show that clearly on this or the rendering.
Is that navigable, like you're going up a set of stairs and then you're opening a gate towards you while you're trying to get up the stairs?
It would look probably like one of the gates we saw in the previous image, the one on the right there.
Well, if you did put the fence back to that point of the retaining wall, or the ears of that wall, then you wouldn't put a 5-foot high fence. It would match the 3-foot high gate.
Correct.
Just clarification, the neighbors, how tall are their fences on both sides of it? Do they have 3-foot fences, 4-foot fences? It appears, sorry.
The neighbor to the lot 11, that's a 6-foot fence. Lot 13 is a 4-foot fence.
Next to lot 13, okay. And that's indicated on this piece of.
Yes, that is.
On this record.
But Atlantic Avenue in your block, how many other houses have front yard fences?
It seems they all do.
I don't know off the top of my head.
The Fair Housing Act is, very specific about this. Just like handicap to having a restriction that it be removed upon transfer of title?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
That the fence would be removed upon transfer of title of the property. I mean, we're doing, you know, and I'll just share my view on that, is that clearly you're covered. But the land determines what goes on, it's not really the inhabitants, except for this fair housing area. So if you'd be amenable to the 3 feet and to removing it upon, you know, your transfer, I think those would be reasonable considerations.
Yes.
That would be amazing, because we do have 3 girls, and they all follow their oldest sister. She's 8, but they all follow her like Dublin, so it would keep them all in, and they would be off of our neighbors' front porch.
Sure.
Can I ask that question?
Sure.
Or 2 questions. One is the gate on the right-hand side. If that is up at the top of there, I guess it disregards the gate would just push in there. I think at that point. I just wanted to make sure.
It'd be easier pushing in there. Over
Okay.
here, you don't want to do that because you're gonna hit your steps going up to your house.
Push out or push in, yeah, pull in and push out, okay. And then, the other question is, after this, if we do a submission, is it that we just wait another month and then come again? Or if we do the submission, it would, as long as it abided by everything, it would be approved?
Sure, I'll let Anne Marie touch on it, but I'll give you a little, you know, so once the resolution is read, which, you know, would, if it's approved, would be at the next meeting, the resolution would be read. Once it's published, which would be published by you in the local papers, you can do that the next day if you can, because then there's a 45-day appeal period where anybody can be. You'd be doing work at your own risk at that point, but if no one comes to object to the fence, then the chances are that.
Right, and most likely it won't be, if you do your revisions properly and no one on the board has any problem with approving the resolution, which is merely the vote that we're gonna take tonight. So it's called a memorializing resolution. If you do your plans correctly, according to what we're telling you would be acceptable, and that is acceptable to you, and that we fixate the variance by that, then you don't have to come back, and we don't have to reopen this matter. If there's any issue, we might have to reopen. So, kind of, you're sort of changing things, and we're asking you because we're thinking logically, and you don't have attorneys, and you don't have planners, and you didn't figure this out. So, you know, that's really the problem that you're facing, is whether or not we're covering everything we need to cover, I hope.
Yes, I believe with a revised site plan reflecting, you know, those changes. You know,
Yeah.
and again, you know, now I've requested the 3-foot fence instead of 4, and having it removed upon transfer of title in the future. So if my other board members conclude that's.
So we're gonna allow Michael to review the plans for resolution compliance and approve it that way, rather than them having to come back.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be most approved in this case. So do we have any more questions from the board?
It's just one. Unfortunately, you opened up the can of worms. You said you thank the fences for us. You really almost, how do we know these fences that you are planning on moving back onto your property or yours?
Is anyone here from lot 11?
Yeah, I just.
Quick question, is what fence?
You're talking about the one on, lot 11 side, goes over your neighbor's yard?
Oh, replacing that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that your fence?
If we submit to replace that, we will get written express from that person, just to, because I don't think there's any way of really knowing if it's our fence, right?
I don't know, I just don't want to open up a can of worms where you have it.
But there's a gate, so
I don't
there's,
care if that doesn't mean anything.
but no, but the gate is on their property.
I understand, but the fence is on there. Who knows what agreement was made 100 years ago? You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. There's nothing in writing. It's just, here's a fence on their property line. You want to take it down, you want to replace it, you want to put it back on. What was with someone else's fence? Most of the neighbor's fence.
Do they need a variance for that section of fence?
Well, I just want them to understand, this is the north side of the house.
It's north side of the house.
along block 11, the neighbor to your right, facing the house. After the 5.3 foot side yard, beyond there, you see how the fence with the little circles on it, the fence goes crooked.
Yes.
And it's on, the bulk of it is on your neighbor's property. So you would, if you were to take that down, you need to put it on your property, not the neighbor's property.
I agree.
Yeah, it can't go in place.
And just to clarify, where it says 5.3, and that is the exact same fencing that matches the exact as the.
I'm not doubting,
Yeah,
just from a
Yes,
clarification, just clarity of the app, because they're asking you to do a lot of changes, and
If you can't get permission to take this down, then it has to stay.
the 5.3 has, some broken areas on it, which is why I wanted to replace that. So if it would be better to just replace the 5.3, connect it through the red, make it more like a square like, we can definitely.
it's up to your call, it's your choice, you're the
Yeah.
one, you want to change it, that's what I'm saying, if you're gonna
If
do
it's not
that.
necessary, I understand.
If you're gonna do the whole
Yeah,
side of the property.
I understand.
And to the point of, is there a variance over there? I guess we could measure it, and Mike here could tell us if there's an additional variance there. But I'm for clarity right now. We should approve what is easy for them to accomplish without knowing what the neighbor will do.
Isn't the rule for a fence on the side yard 4 feet?
It is, and that
That's a
was,
6-foot fence, so that would be a new variance to put a 6-foot fence back
So-
up.
so it would have to be replaced with a 4-foot fence.
Or they get a variance for a 6-foot fence.
Yeah.
Which they didn't know
Yeah,
existed.
and technically, where that red line
Might just
ends
wanna leave it.
on the north side coincides with the first vertical wall of the house.
Yeah.
So that's where the switch would take place for a 4-foot fence beyond that. So the 3-foot would be the red area, but you could then go 4-foot there till you get to the back wall. And then in your backyard, it could be 6 feet, but you don't have a backyard.
Right.
But in this case, you're just looking to enclose the front yard, so that red line would theoretically go up to the 5.3 and make a way.
Yes,
And, it
correct.
would- and,
Right.
and what the chair is saying is, this part would be 3 foot,
Correct,
and the next couple of feet, you could have a 4 foot.
correct.
It changes the view of how your property looks.
And then keep the 5.3 the exact same height for the gate?
Yes,
Correct,
yes, whatever new gate you put there would be a 4-foot gate
correct.
and similar materials, and so it could match, and you get that space there as green area for your children.
The gate is a 6-foot fence, 5.3.
Okay, that's non-compliant.
You take it down. you can put it
And
back.
you're telling us you're taking it down, but you didn't ask for that variance, so.
Right, I'm not saying that we're taking it down, we're just discussing it, so
4 foot.
I would remove that from the submission, most likely, the side, that whole fence part seems like it's very muddy in the entire situation. So I'll just end up removing that out, and we won't keep the submission to what we discussed to enclose the front yard.
So my question is, do your neighbors know that you want a fence on both sides? Do they aware?
Yes, they are. One is here today, and the other one gave us verbal that they would support it.
Because just them saying, I've been a victim of fence next to fence, so if someone told me, I probably would cut down my fence first or put up their vinyl. So it gives them the opportunity to clean up their space or do what they wanna do, because why would you have 2 fences next to each other?
Right.
So just.
But there is no fence for this short period.
Yeah,
I think she's
that's
talking
what
about
she's-
this little 4-foot section
Yeah.
here. If they put a new fence up, they might wanna take down this thing. This look more decorative than it served any other purpose.
Correct, it is very decorative, or like a-
Kind of like a landscape, it looked more like a landscape decoration,
Okay.
trying to serve any
That
purpose.
southern line would then be a 3-foot fence. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Correct.
Yes, exactly.
All right, do you want to state the final terms here?
So
Appropriate
just
for me to write it?
the way I see it is you're probably gonna run a fence, your front yard on this side here is just gonna go to this corner here. You're not running it, you're not trying to fence off a foot over here. So you're gonna kind of run it to the end of the covered, or to the covered porch here,
Okay.
right to the covered porch, to here, along here, gate, along there, gate, up along there, and then tying into the existing 6-foot fence.
That's correct.
But then you could switch the 4 feet in between.
If they invite, yes.
Yeah, because from first, okay.
That's
if you go 3 foot and then make the 4 foot, then take out the broken down gate and make it a 4 foot.
Understood.
Correct.
Okay.
Or you don't, if you have a fence, if they wanna keep the gate, you're all fenced in, you might not even want a gate over there at that point.
That is also.
You're taking up room.
Um,
I can.
Dan?
The other thing I'd like to see that gets included in this, if you see a picture of a fence here, that it's that kind of a fence, with those kinds of openings, so you've got your visibility, you've got your airflow, which is concerns about having in front of
Right,
a fence.
and that's
So-
part of the, excuse me, that's part of the variance proof that we want to hear, that you're still presenting air, light, and open space by using that kind of fence. And it's compliant with our.
Yeah, the white picket fence that you submitted.
Can I clarify in deliverables? So would it be this document just needs to be revised to be accurate of the depiction that we're talking about? And then we also want a picture of maybe the fence from the catalog or something? Okay.
Yeah, I want the product that you're using submitted with the drawing, and that's gonna be what you showed tonight, even at the height that we specified, and then you're not supposed to change it from there. We don't wanna come in and see a different fence after.
Right, and this gentleman is the board engineer, so he will be reviewing this to assist in writing the resolution for me for August. Okay, and then we'll communicate with you guys that everything's acceptable, and then we'll communicate with the board when we submit the resolution that here's the plan, and everyone checks off that they will agree. Good?
Yes, any other questions from the board?
I do just have to make the record a little bit more, so.
Just stepping to the left a little bit. Do you guys have a dog or are intending to get a dog?
We have 2 dogs.
You have a dog.
Yeah.
So would they be coming into the front yard? Now that you have a fenced-in yard,
They
like,
live there. I imagine I mean, most of the times they're inside or they're on walks, but we have them on the patio.
One is a Bernese Mountain Dog, she hates the heat, so she's very uncomfortable here. She's in the air conditioning. The other one is a Bernedoodle, and we keep her inside because, it's going to be rocks too, and it hurts her feet, so it works out for everybody.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, the dogs are not gonna be like in the front yard.
well, when I bought a house, I looked for one with a fenced-in yard because now I can let my dogs out.
Right.
So you're going from a not fenced-in yard to now you're going to a fenced-in yard. Human nature might say, on a rainy day, and it's, I'm not discounting, I'm not moving away from a yes, which I'm generally looking at the yes, once this is fixed. I was just curious.
I totally understand. We have a house in Ramsey where we have about an acre. That's their house for the backyard. This is not the house for them, so they're inside the whole time. I totally understand. The dogs that run in the front are very annoying. Absolutely. This is really for the kids.
Yeah, at this point, if I have no other questions from the board, I'll open it up to the public for questions of the applicant's claim. So if anyone would like to raise their hand and come up, sure.
My name is Rona Parker.
Can you come up, please,
Yeah,
ma'am?
come up.
Yes.
Come up to the table. She has to be able to be caught by the microphone. Your name,
My
please?
name is Rona Parker. I am at 27 Atlantic Avenue. I'm right next door.
Okay.
And I just want to say how delighted I am to have new neighbors who are taking care of their home, who are putting in improvements, who are delightful neighbors, lovely children. I can't say enough about them.
But this is only questions, so if you have
Anything-
questions, you have questions for them.
I
This is
don't
the-
have a question.
Okay, then, we're gonna open it up again for comments, but
Oh,
this is
I
If you're asking,
apologize.
no problem.
You thought I wanted to ask them a question?
Well, that's the way it's set up.
This is questions.
This is questions only.
But thank you for your comment.
Well, I'd be glad to repeat.
We give it 4 minutes, what do you?
Don't detract, don't subtract.
But I have a question for you. Do
Yes.
you own either of the fences on either side?
Let me tell you about, I'm at
Which- where you-
27.
You're on the
13.
south side, okay.
Lot
Yes.
13.
You're with these small 4-foot vinyl fences.
There is a small-foot
Yes.
vinyl fence. When we moved in, it was there. We never asked a question about it. We believe it is on our joint properties.
Yes.
And I have said to my wonderful new neighbors, whatever needs to be done, you need to be able to.
Great, so they could remove that and
It
make that
is,
a 3-foot
it,
fence.
right,
Okay.
it is on the property line, because we share
Yes.
the,
Yes, you share the property.
We share the property, and we split whatever needs to be done with the grass and stuff and weeds behind it, so.
We'll come back for comments.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
3-foot will be.
Anyone else from the audience have a question of the applicants? If not, I'll close the question portion and I'll open the public comment portion. This is for any comments you have. Please don't speak on behalf of other people because that doesn't fly because they can't be cross-examined. But if you'd like to step up, Ms. Parker, please, and state your name and address again, and we'll get you on the record for comments.
My name is Rona Parker. I am at 27 Atlantic Avenue, which is next door to 27 and a half. I will not presume to speak on behalf of my husband, who completely agrees. But I just want to say ditto to what I said.
Okay, thank you, and just so you know, we discount the husbands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no other hands, I'm going to close the public portion.
I just have one.
Yes.
I just want to reiterate that the applicants have given what is some planning testimony. You've heard there isn't a formal planner here, but you've heard that they're looking to make something aesthetically pleasing by putting a matching fence in and the right heights and all that. They're asking for this because of a disability, and they're citing to the Fair Housing Act, which is important for us to pay attention to. And obviously, we want children, disabled or not, to be safe in their own property. And this property is undersized. So that is a hardship which is not caused by the applicants here. It is a smaller lot than is required in the zone. It's a pre-existing condition, probably exists for 100 years. And so that is a consideration for the planning testimony. Also, I think there were other things that also touched towards, like the open air space and light. That's all a requirement under the MLUL. So I believe that the variance relief is adequately supported, though of course it is your individual decision. The only comment I do have, Mr. Chair, and I'm sorry to disagree with you, but the restriction where you are asking that the next owner or these owners before they sell remove the fence. That's not usual for the granting of variances, particularly in residential zones. Like the hair love thing, we made that condition because not only did the applicants agree to that, but it's a commercial property. Here, it could be interpreted as a imposition upon the transfer of title, because it affects the transfer of title. We would have to put such a condition into a deed restriction, and such is really not appropriate for a fence. So,
let me ask the applicant, would you be willing to record the resolution in the county seat so that any title company in the future would see it? I'm looking at this as, and again, it's my request. I'm not saying my board members have to agree with it. The board members, they can determine what they want, but this is specific to the Fair Housing Act. And if we have a handicap ramp for a wheelchair and then we don't have anyone with a wheelchair, then we would want that taken down too. Because obviously we make adjustments for the residents based on the handicap. It has nothing to do with the land.
yes, I understand.
And
But
really-
generally, variances go with the land, and they usually are not required to be removed because there's no longer the condition that caused it. It's, so, all I'm saying
Yeah.
is, it could be an overreach because it touches upon title. And now, when you say to them, record this in a deed, it most
Well,
definitely
it's
touches
just
upon
record
title.
the resolution. The resolution's a
I
public document.
understand,
Yeah.
I understand, but.
Again, we're making reasonable adjustments for the applicant, they're requesting reasonable adjustments, and, you know, we're getting there, but there are no fences on that street, you know,
Yeah.
and also,
Oh, okay.
yeah, as far as I could see, I mean, there's no front yard fences in that block. So, again, you know,
Okay, so,
The other side.
so you're not on the corner, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's another reason why variances are granted, but you're not on the corner. So I just want you to understand that you will have to remove that, not the other people, not the new people buying the house. You would have to remove that fence. And if your new people didn't want to remove the fence, they would have to come back to this board for permission to leave it there. That's the only thing that's, I would want to add to that motion. If you require that they remove it and put that in a deed restriction, which is recorded in the county, then we also need to tell them that the new owner has the right to come here
Yeah, oh,
and ask
absolutely.
for the same relief. They may not get it, but they can ask for it.
I'm in agreement to all this, just going on the record. The one thing I will say is, I just wanna get this set up
Sure.
so that we can get the girls enclosed there. If I had my preference, I wouldn't have to remove it, just because it's gonna be about, I'm sure, 10 to 15 to put it up, and then additional cost to take it down. But if it comes with it, we're yes.
Yeah, and what I'm saying to you about a new owner could apply, so you still have the obligation to take it down, even if they tell you, we want to keep it, or they have to not purchase it until they come here and get the variance. So it's a restriction that if you're agreeing to it in return for we're granting it on the basis of the FHA, then it's a reasonable condition and it has reasonable restrictions to it.
We do plan to live in house a while, so.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you'll live with it for 20 years and then
It's okay.
we'll see it in 20 years. If we're all here. All right, so Mr. Chair, again, I think that's a reasonable accommodation, okay?
There's somebody in the audience.
pardon?
Yeah, we should reopen to the public.
Actually, I have a question.
I'm sorry, if you have a question, you have to come up, identify yourself and
We
get.
closed the public portion, I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
want, you know.
Oh, we closed the public portion.
Oh,
All right, sorry.
but it came after we used.
Yeah, I understand. Record deed and. I'm good.
Okay.
So if you want
any
to call
other
for a motion.
Questions or comments from the board? If not, I would, you know, request the motion.
I mean, I have a comment just about, you know, requiring the fence to come down or the new owners to come in and then request the variance. I think that this board has, you know, repeatedly discussed overreach at the state level or the county level within our own space in the residential world. And I think that this is essentially mimicking that same thing that we push against at the state level, but, you know, we're inviting here tonight as applicants. So I would say that while I think that this is reasonable, and I think the board is being reasonable with the request to have a more refined plan, I don't agree with the fact that we should have a requirement to have this couple need to make a removal or the new homeowners have to go through either a variance or the, it's just adding up, we're just creating a lot more bureaucracy, and I think that, I don't know that that's our place to decide that. You either decide that it's a fence, yes, or no.
So you're not making a motion yet.
I'm
So
just bringing up a point that
Any-
seems to be
that's good.
possibly
Sure.
to socialize with the rest of the board.
Okay. Does anyone have a motion on this application?
I'd like to make a motion to approve based on the conditions, including a deed restriction, the modifications as presented, 3-foot fence, as well as the enclosures and movement of the gates, as defined.
with the recordation
With-
and
with
With
return.
recordation, with the title restriction.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Saracen?
So if I vote yes, it's to remove the fence as well. There's no
The deed.
bifurcation of like,
No, cannot bifurcate the vote, so it's either yes or no to what the motion was.
well, in fairness to the applicant tonight, I think this is important, so I'm gonna vote yes, but I also would like to note, I think that this is, you know, this is overreach. This is a board overreaching, and I can agree with that piece of this.
Mr. Bagley?
Yes.
Mr. Wishfeld?
Yes.
Councilman Novaki?
Yes.
Councilman Hart?
Yes.
Ms. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
I also want to go on the record too, I also agree with our fellow board member that I do believe this is overreach also with the fence. We're giving the fence, it's a fence, it's gonna turn into an aesthetic thing. It's not our place, and I think it's putting extra work onto, just in the process. I don't agree with the stand that it should be in deed restriction, so I think it is overreach. But again, in due respect to what your needs are, yes.
And Chair Cohen?
Yeah, I believe the applicant's submission of the Fair Housing Act, Section 42 USC 3604, Section F3B, does require the municipalities and boards to make adjustments that are reasonable adjustments. The applicant made that request. The board acknowledged it in a reasonable fashion. As I previously stated, the variances usually go with the land. In this case, based on the Fair Housing Act, it goes with the occupants. So being that the occupants are leaving, I believe it's correct that it would be removed. But they did meet their proofs and their submissions, pending the revised site plan and pictures of the subject fence from the brochure. I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so the vote was everyone in your favor. The board engineer will craft something for us to look at. You will look at it as well, and we will be in touch with you by email. Christie will be in touch with you.
Thank you all so much, and thank you, Christie.
Good luck.
Thank you for your patience. 7:29. I keep track. That's a trial thing. I used to sit in trial. So,
So the next application is Land Use Board 25-08. This is a use variance for a non-conforming use and bulk variance for a second-story addition over an existing first story. Lewis and Rosemary Rico, Block 83, Lot 18, 310 Third Avenue. The applicants are requesting use and bulk variance relief with a proposed construction of 159.3 square foot second-story addition over an existing dwelling. The proposed addition will not increase any existing building coverage or lot coverage, as the improvements are located entirely over the existing building footprint.
Gentlemen,
So we have the
Paul.
applicant.
Councilman.
Mitch.
all right, just for
Oh,
the.
yeah, for the record, Vice Chair Mayor has recused himself, being noticed within 200 feet. Being that this is a use variance, a D variance, the council members of this board will be recusing themselves, and all will be leaving the premise.
You can come back in an hour if you want.
An hour?
Well, I don't know, it's a use variance. You have big, it's a use variance.
That was just.
That was just I do want to observe that I spoke briefly with these applicants, and while they did not retain an attorney for here, they actually did consult with and get prepared by them. So that was a good thing. I think we're gonna see that with these two applicants.
So they only paid half the fee?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, their attorneys in Florida.
I don't know what the attorney charged.
So, welcome, Mr. Masleko. Who would like to present first?
We're gonna raise our hands, please, both of you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Your name, ma'am?
Rosemary Clerico.
Clerico, and this is your husband?
Yes.
What's your
Louis.
first name?
Louis.
Louis, gotcha. Okay, so we're starting with Mr. Clerico.
We're requesting to put a extension off of our master bedroom for bathroom, master bedroom, for basically health purposes for me. But it's over the existing sunroom that has been there since the house was built. I've been a resident of Bradley Beach for over 45 years. And I moved to Florida part-time for a couple of years, and now I'm back full-time. For a lot to do with our family, our grandchildren, and my basic health. And the request is for access to a bedroom right up the master bedroom. And in that area, we were gonna have a shower and shower, but also in there, a stackable washer dryer, so I don't have to go up and down to the basement again for health. We've been, decided to come back to New Jersey full time, and until the end of time, my time, I'm gonna stay here, so that's my request.
So you're not adding any beds?
No.
Great. And well, Mr. Grasso's not here to?
No.
No? Okay. I have a few questions for him. And so it's just the bathroom addition?
Yeah.
And that's it, and it's over the existing. And then, as I review the plans, there's no windows on the bathroom along the side property line?
On the front.
Just in the front, that's for fire code purposes?
Yes.
Okay, you're not allowed to have windows there, but there's no privacy issue for the neighbor on that side because there's no windows, your windows are out front, okay. Do I have any other questions from the board?
I have a question. Sure. I'm looking at the existing second floor plan. It shows a bathroom there between the two bedrooms.
Yes, that's going to be removed.
But I'm not sure why it sounds like you're saying.
The house is almost 100 years old. The bathroom that's between the two bedrooms is approximately 15 inches wide.
No, a little bit more than that.
Probably not. But the point is that it's antiquated, the pipes have to be replaced numerous times, and I need more space, I need more room.
Our home is almost 100 years old in another year. And in the older homes, you only have one main bathroom. So we have 5 grandchildren and a lot of family. So being that this is going to be our home full time, we wanted to extend it just to have our own privacy and for health reasons, so that it would be more accommodating.
But you're actually giving up a bathroom on the second floor.
Yes.
We're eliminating that
That little bathroom to get a regular size bathroom. We'll have 2 bathrooms up on the second floor.
So anybody that's in the other 2 bedrooms on your second floor will have to come into your bedroom?
No.
There's a bathroom.
There's a main bathroom
Main
up
bathroom.
in the hallway, like off the hallway.
Right here.
So,
Between the 2 bedrooms, right there.
I don't see anything on the plan that says bathroom.
It was labeled on the existing, it should probably be revised to show on the proposed bathroom and bedroom.
Right.
Proposed, there's no other bedroom.
Oh,
Minor detail.
yeah, okay.
okay, you're right.
It's one of our questions for Mr. Grasso.
But you confirm that you're not changing, these are all gonna be bedrooms in the same
Yes.
place,
Nothing
bathrooms,
changed.
so they're not changing, we could just get the plan
What are they
updated.
eliminating?
There's a bathroom here and a closet.
Right.
And this is being eliminated to expand the bedrooms and build this new bathroom.
Oh, right.
With a walk-in closet here.
Right,
And a master bath.
right.
Is this a, you say a dryer, washer, dryer here?
Yes, a stackable washer
Yes.
dryer, so that,
So it's like a walk-in closet, laundry room.
Yes.
As I said, the space doesn't give me privacy. For our use, our children and our grandchildren use the bathroom on the second floor that he just met.
Okay.
And nothing's changed in order to that.
Okay.
I believe you also mentioned when talking before, you're trying to make it a little more ADA compliant, the bathroom, for senior accessible?
Yes, yes.
I don't know if you're talking about it, but yeah. If I have to, I will. Yes, it is. Do I want to?
And how long have you lived in the house?
45 years plus.
It's a beautiful home. I have comments about, your architect, because I think, I would love him to be here because I just want to clarify, chapter 450 of our zoning ordinance, 450-12, non-conforming uses, and you are non-conforming because you have the property in the back.
Right.
Which is a
Yes, I know that.
structure, which is what triggers you
Yes.
coming here. But in that section, item B3 states, a building containing a residential non-conforming use may be altered in any way to improve interior livability. No structural alteration shall be made which will increase the number of bedrooms or dwelling units. So the architect's done a very good job at enhancing the interior livability
Yes.
while not increasing density or number of bedrooms.
Yes,
So,
and we're not going out even over our own thing, because we didn't, we wanted just to keep to that footprint.
which was great because
Yes.
otherwise you trigger more impervious
Exactly.
coverage, which
Right.
you're going over anyway.
Exactly what
For me,
you said.
visually, it impacted the style of the roof, the way it looked. Keeping it exactly the same way, I can stick with the two lines of the roof without distorting it.
Yeah, and your architect kept to the spirit of the
Right.
ordinance. which
Yes.
is good.
What was that section you just read?
450-12, non-conforming uses, structures and lots, section B, item 3.
Thank you. For the record.
I don't have any other questions, if there's any other board members.
And this is just maybe a typo. When it says minimum front yard setback, it says it's currently at 25.7, and it says proposed 26.36. Why is that front yard setback changing?
Well, that's the front porch.
Might be just a typo.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
Because
strange.
they're not changing anything.
I didn't think so, but I just wanted to check.
Okay, so it could be a typo.
It's on your letter.
Yes. And this is not extending past part of the building, so it's not changing the front.
It's not, so that's just a typo.
It's just typo.
Okay.
So I have another question. Do you have any concern about structural foundational issues having that weight on top of that old foundation?
No, because the sunroom is an extension that has a 4 concrete base.
Sure.
It's not weight.
There's no basement underneath
There's
there?
no basement. So
Thank you.
Reinforced concrete underneath, which I had done years ago.
Anyone else?
Well, we have to get
Well,
some plans.
there is one thing I did notice about this plan though, is part of your walkway is on your neighbor's property and your fence to this rear dwelling. It's not affecting the addition,
No.
but that is just something to note.
Right, and that's on the,
You have
what
about
side is that?
about a foot and a half.
Actually,
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
what size is, what?
This would be, this is our north arrow, so
Yeah.
we're going on the west side here.
On the west side of the property, at the rear,
Right, the northwest corner here, to the second dwelling that's not being modified here.
Right.
The walkway, which you would not be able to get to this rear door without actually having to
Right.
go on this property here.
right, so that is, and Mike and I talked about this before we started, that's a significant intrusion onto the neighbor's property. But because the expansion that they're proposing is solely to the front building and is not encroaching, we can allow our variances, if we grant them, to apply there. We don't have to do any, we cannot approve any condition that's, you didn't create, we're not creating, we're not changing but we cannot approve it. So that is on the other neighbor's property. We don't make any movement on that.
Just a point of information, when I bought the property, that fence existed. That house existed, the sidewalk existed, okay? The gentleman next door to me had a wooden fence that was probably from 100 years ago. It was falling apart, it was flat and missing. I approached him, I said, I would be more than willing to replace the fence. And because he was so concerned about his property line, I suggested that the survey, I had a survey, an old survey, which I'm sure is different than that. I put the posts exactly where his posts were. I put new posts, and I replaced the fence and removed the fence for him, only because it was a hazard to me in terms of it was falling down. But nothing was changed or altered or modified since that house was purchased by me. So, there's a walkway there.
Which was what year that you purchased? What year did you purchase? You said 45 years.
52,
Yeah.
he was 4, so
Yeah, probably
I, that,
before zoning.
Yeah, just, I mean, that may be an issue in the
76,
future.
77.
Sir?
Oh, sorry.
If, you know, just, I think it's great that our engineer made you aware of it.
Yes.
It could be an issue in the future, something that you could remedy, but upon a transfer of title, the title company might not ensure that.
I understand.
One thing, so as long as you
And
understand.
I told my neighbor, if he decides to sell the house, I'm not sure if it's the neighbor's property, that I would knock the fence down. I would put the fence against my rental house, my back house,
Okay.
just to get that house fixed. I can't make a complaint about how I'm going to keep the property, but it's disgusting.
Okay, so, well,
I'm sorry.
this is zoning, code's another.
And I just want to make a point that nothing was moved or changed since I purchased that property. I made my point, sure, just focus on it.
So I'd like to open it up for any questions of the applicants. I'll open it up to the public for any questions, if anyone would like to step forward and,
Miss, can I just cover a bit of zoning testimony?
well, let me get this done and then.
Okay, but they have a right to hear the answers
Okay.
before they talk.
Hold on.
So you met with the attorney, and I'm sure he explained to you that you have to show proofs why you should get the variance. Now, you talked about the need for interior space. You're not extending beyond the footprint. That's something that the board can consider in determining that you should be granted the variance. Is there anything else that your attorney said to you you should speak to about?
well, I think we'll address that.
Okay.
It's more of a medical issue. Before, I mean, it bothered me that we only have one bedroom.
Yeah.
But now it's come to age-wise.
Yes.
And the convenience of having something close to us.
Yes, I understand, but variances are generally, you have to show that there's some benefit to the community by what you're doing versus it's just for your convenience. We generally don't get involved with the interiors except when you're expanding. So you're expanding the interior. Is the light in the area changing? Is the shadows in the area changing? Is it still gonna have, is it gonna be improved aesthetically so that your house will look more nice than it currently does? And
Well,
go ahead. But
I think you have a couple things on the list here. I, to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic designs. We said we like the architecture. I'm not sure if L, to encourage senior citizen community housing.
Well, I mean,
That might be a little stressed.
you're
but-
looking at the purposes
So
of
it's,
the
yeah,
MLU.
it's item I, but I was looking at it a little bit differently in terms of, the maximum construction on this property, in terms of, the density, is that, this lot is a 7,500 square foot lot. Granted, there are the inconsistency of the rear unit, but, this lot could accommodate a 35-foot house 5 feet off the property line, as opposed to what the applicant is proposing, which is 26.83 feet, 2.7 feet off the line. So I think when we look at that in terms of air and light, there's a substantial difference, almost 9-foot difference in height. So I think that's, goes to the air and light.
Right, and it will not create any additional noise, any additional density, as you are saying, it's, Mr. Chair, it's a modest addition. You're not asking to become a ginormous manor house, even though you do have additional property that you could build on. So that's a positive benefit for
Yeah,
this.
it's a modest addition to a modest house.
Yeah.
Is I think the way I look at it. And visually, it's the architecture is compatible to what took place here 100 years ago, except it's been maintained very well.
Okay, so that's
Okay,
for the record.
great. We'll open it up for questions from the public. Seeing none, I'll close the public questions and open up public comments. If anyone in the audience would like to comment on the application, step forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment. And do we have any other comments from the board or a motion?
General comment, I think it's a great looking plan, and if you guys are deciding to stay here year round is excellent, and I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve?
Approved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes, there's no bedroom being added, and it doesn't create any additional density, so.
Ms. Saracen?
Yes, I approve.
Mr. Bagley?
Yes.
Mr. Wishbach?
Yes.
Ms. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
And Chair Coleman?
Yes, and I looked at back in my statement, said your architect did take into consideration the ordinance, which is not something that we see all the time, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your
All in
time.
favor? Thank
Christie,
you.
thank you for your
Thank
patience. You talked me off the ledge.
I got your husband out of the house.
I know, we kept running back and forth. Thank you very much.
Long-term cover.
Mr. Chairman. So I feel like.
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute recess before our next applicant. Our next is going to be a determination based on the notice for 106 Second Avenue. It was number 1 on the agenda. Right now it's
Is she really? Is she okay?
yeah.
Never know what will happen.
That's it for me for tonight then? See you next month?
Thank you.
I would like to put on the record that Michael Supply is leaving the building. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, it is? I'll make that again. That's what you did to her. pool.
But now they're like.
I mean, all in all, last time, she reviewed the spreadsheets, it was 3 out of 10. I know that TRC. That'll probably. Especially with the brand new application, he was included in negotiations. So,
Most flooding down there.
and there's the locations, so that's covered. They say. That's
But there's a use variance, so we're, and that's a zoning board, so I can move for a second. Right. And normally it's cut off at 9, for more variances, we cut off at 9, and use variances when we're having a zoning board, so it's 7. Yeah, I'm not cutting you out of the Yep, I know, and it's crazy, and I'm always counting too, because I'm like, and then I'm like, keep left. That's why I was writing my own little notes here. So like here, I had to put recuse and he's absent. Well, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, you just.
well, they didn't give the specific, which building?
It's like a little mini concrete building right now.
Right. So, but that, like I said, my concern is, we can't allow them to neighbor bags, that way, I mean, how do we know the person who owned the house before didn't just connect a gate to their neighbor's fence? I mean, ideally, we wouldn't want 2 fences, so how are you gonna maintain one? You really want it like on property.
Nobody knows who owns it.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
How are you, Victoria?
And I with my neighbor, but, in fact, they're like, hey, we had a stock gate fence, we both have this. And they're like, we want to do vinyl fence. So I was like, yeah, I'll do a vinyl fence across the back, and if I can afford it, I'll do it, or in the rest of it, but, so we still should test the fence. I think it's actually a foot in my property, and I don't care, because he's got rocks and whatever he's got going on with his pool. That's the one on the other side, so, I mean, if we ever do replace that, I'll probably have it removed. And we'll just have it. Well, they usually string it, like, so when I first put up the fence, we had, there was still work back there, like, they had put the pin and flag in the fence post, so that we knew that, and you just take a straight line and you put a stake over there, and you just make sure that fence is in that line, and you're good, but you don't put out in the beginning, and it won't be anywhere. We don't get to let you know that, like, on the other the couple that have anything that's on the application. So.
presentation. This is LUB 26-04, bulk variance to retain a non-compliant driveway apron material, Ricky Addis and Christina Douglas, block 69, lot 9, 406 Second Avenue. The applicants are seeking a variance to retain the existing concrete paver driveway apron, whereas reinforced concrete is required. This is really a determination. There's going to be no testimony on this. This is just a determination as to whether it be on the agenda for our August meeting. So,
Good evening. All right, okay. Before the applicants speak, I'll swear them in, but before they speak, I just want to sort of lay the groundwork, because this is not something that the board usually gets involved in, but there is a determination to be made about the efficiency or deficiency of the mailing that has been done. And of course, the board members know that for us to have jurisdiction, we have to have a mailing that is appropriate under the law. Now, let me just, I have my exhibits that I want to mark, and I can't seem to find them. I didn't bring them home. Oh, okay, here it is. Just for the record, so the problem that arose initially was that the applicants didn't notice, and the content of the notice was deficient. So they had to be canceled from, I don't know, the June meeting and put onto the July meeting, and they did a second notice for tonight's hearing, and you can see that there are some members of the public here, and hopefully they're all here for this matter. There were 25 mailings within the 200-foot list and 5 mailings for the public entities and utilities. So it was a total of 30 mailings. The MLUL and our borough code requires compliance with the MLUL that requires that there be a certified mailing to each person on the 200-foot list and to the utilities. Specifically, neither the borough code, which follows MLUL says you don't have to do return receipt requested. However, the return receipt requested is part of our usual process and is recommended to be done mainly for the protection of the applicants as to any objector that might come forward. In other words, because the law says you don't have to do this, they don't have to do it. They don't have to ask for the return receipt to come back proving. But what happens is then there's an objector and he goes to court and he didn't get his notice, and he goes to court and he says, I didn't get notice, and the judge says, Mr. or Mrs. applicant, or in this case, 2 applicants, where's the proof that you actually mailed it? Well, there isn't a proof that, there is proof that they mailed it. What isn't in the record is an actual proof by return receipt that each person got the letter and they signed for the letter. So what happened here is the applicants had the assistance of the U.S. Postal Service in Bradley Beach to do their certified mailings. And they indicated this to me. You can correct me if I'm wrong, or when you speak, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But they went to the U.S. Postal Service with the envelopes all filled out and addressed to each person on the list and the utilities, 30 envelopes. What they didn't do was fill out the green cards and the white slips that Christy and I look at to see if we can prove by matching those addresses that should be on those things to the list. So we go through the list and we say, okay, They mailed 25 mailings. Did they make sure they sent it to Joe Schmo at 15 Ocean Boulevard? That's what we do. But it's not actually required. And there is case law on this, which goes between what's reasonable and a reasonable stretch of the MLUL and what's not reasonable. There is no case that says you must do return receipts requested. So what these applicants are asking is, please consider holistically what we have. And so what we have, and this is a certified mail receipt, and I just made a copy of the blank ones, and I'm passing one of these to one of our applicants, and I'll just mark this as A1 with today's date, and just so you can see what the document is that I'm talking about. So on the first page is the white slip, and on the second page is the front and back of the green card. So they gave their mailing to the postal worker down at the postal office in Bradley Beach. And she said, I think it was a she, I'm going to help assist you. I will do the cards. I will do the green cards. I will do the white slips. I'll get it all in order, come back in an hour. And that's what happened. They assumed that the Postal Service worker did the right thing. But the truth is, no addresses were put on the green card, and no addresses were put on the white slip. However, so that's a deficiency, but it's about return receipt requested. It's not about did they send it certified mail. So additionally, as we pushed through this, they sent me yesterday, and of course it's in the record, and I'm going to mark those as exhibits, the itemized receipt, which shows 30 certified mailings they were charged for 30 return receipt requested, but they did not get that service because no one filled out the cards. Now, the cards started trickling back to these applicants because their address was on it. But we don't actually know. I actually think we have, let me see. We have 30 white slips stamped by the post office, which matches the 200 foot, but we don't know which of these 30 matches which person on the 200 foot list. But on the receipt, interestingly, it does have a partial address for every single one of the 30 things. So they've submitted something that I've never gotten from an applicant, because normally, you know, most things come through attorneys and their affidavit. So the affidavit is a little bit not up to speed. They use the form that Bradley Beach does use, and you know, when attorneys do their affidavits, we get exactly what we need, every single proof and statement that we need. That wasn't done here, but the applicants, I've talked with them. The purpose of tonight is, let's have a judgment on the passage of the notice and have them come back next month for their hearing on the variance. And from that, I will be able to get additional green cards that they have received since their submission, and I will ask them to do a new affidavit, and they have agreed to do a new affidavit. There's some deficiencies in the current affidavit. Go ahead.
Does the affidavit protect us if we hear it? I mean, I know they're at risk more than we are.
Well,
is that my understanding?
Well, the return receipt requested, the motivation for that is really to protect the applicant.
Yeah.
But it also gives the board a extra ability to say, yes, we have jurisdiction. So what I'm suggesting to you is, what we have here on the affidavit is, I did the certified mailings. And it's basically a general statement, and what you're going to hear, I'm sure, from one of the applicants is, we went, just what I just described, we went there, after an hour they went back, The woman at the post office said it's all done, they saw it, there were green cards on the envelopes, the white slips were on the envelopes, and off they went. But when the green cards came back, they're blank on the back. There are signatures, but it looks like, a lot of them look like they're all signed with initials of KD, and it's marked agent. But these are homes. They're not KD, and my guess is KD is the postal carrier that delivered the mail. I don't know who KD could be, but that's really what I'm thinking or speculating is. Again, I still think, it's my opinion, in looking at the whole here, that it's unusual for us to be faced with this thing, and most times people want to do the right thing with mailing. And most times boards assist on the right thing. Well, what I'm telling you is, I think that we have enough to find that we have jurisdiction. And additionally, I have had discussions, and both of our applicants here, I'm sorry I did not introduce them yet, and we didn't swear them yet, but both of the applicants are practicing attorneys, albeit not land use, but we've had discussion under Evidence Rule 408, which is discussions about disputes between parties. The board, me, represented the board, and they are in a dispute. So we had some discussions that are protected under Evidence Rule 408 and not admissible in any litigation. That's first. Second thing is that we agreed that we would not record each other in the course of our discussions. They agreed, I agreed, of course, because New Jersey is a one-person state, and we don't, I don't appreciate attorneys being recorded. I had that happen once with a former client who was a police chief who went around recording everyone, me included. So he was, summarily dismissed. But, so putting that aside, I've also explained to them that there is a risk with them proceeding with the application without the proofs that we normally have. And the risk is theirs, and the risk is this. If we have the hearing, if we take jurisdiction and have the hearing and approve or disapprove, okay, whatever you do about the variances, we're not talking about that now, but whatever we do, they would come back next month, we would have the hearing, and so they have agreed to accept the risk that they may be sued and the board may be sued over this lack of notice, which a judge could very well decide they can't really prove exactly, but they have some elements that can be proved. So they've agreed to indemnify the borough if there is any litigation, because most prerogative writ matters, which is what this kind of case is, non-jury prerogative writ matters. If they get sued over a resolution, we also get sued for the resolution. So they're taking a calculated risk that no one is going to come here in August and make objections about this. And hopefully we'll see from who's here that no one objects to this either, right now. And a new affidavit will be submitted that will work out and make sure we get to Christie. And then the other thing is, so there's a waiver of reliance upon a full notice by the applicants, an acceptance of the risk, and an acceptance of indemnity for the board and the agents of the board. So from my perspective, I've done what I can to protect the board should there be an argument about notice. But frankly, if there's an argument about notice, some judge is going to say, well, Ms. Rizzuto, why did you let your client accept jurisdiction? And I would tell the judge what I see, that there is at least 85% of what we need. And in fact, when you look at both the statute and the borough code, it specifically says return receipt is not required. It's not required. But every board in the state uses that. And what do they use it for? They use it to prove delivery to the person at their front door. However, the law says when you put the mailings into the hands of the post office, you can rely upon their infallible ability to deliver mail. Now that comes from common law, or maybe even before our MLUL in the 1950s, that we had this enormous faith in the U.S. Postal Service that when you gave them the mail, it got delivered. And they're allowed to rely upon that. So in the face of where I am, not having a specific case that says you must have return receipt, and the law actually saying you don't need return receipt, but they've given me some of these additional proofs, which I'm going to put into the record, leads me to say to the chair and to the board, look, they've done this notice, they have a variance application, it's for an existing condition from 2020. We'll take the temperature of the people here, we'll hear what the applicant has to say, if they need to add anything, if you guys have any questions. And then I'd ask you just to I don't think you need to vote, I think you can just make a statement.
Do we want to just acknowledge the determination that we will hear it based upon our attorney's advice?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, and I'll take the heat if I need to.
I mean, and when it comes to our town ordinance, we must rely on the state statute, and we're not allowed to supersede the statute.
Yeah.
So in this case, if the statute doesn't say return receipt, even though it's customary professionally, I've done this a lot, and people have done it a lot. I've never seen it where you didn't do the return receipt. The only problem with the return receipt is that sometimes people just never pick them up, so they don't come back. But as long as you have the white stickers, they're acknowledged. But based on that, I think we should talk to you a little bit and then figure out a plan.
All right. Let me just mark these for the records, and I don't have additional copies, but I want to show them to our applicants. And let me say for the record, Miss, what is your name? Say your full name.
He has a David, U-G-G-E-O.
And Miss, your name?
Ricky is A-D-E-S.
And these two are the applicants and owners of the subject property. I have before me the submission that was presented by the applicants under cover of letter dated July 2nd. I've made it into, I've broken it up into sections, and I'm going to show them to our applicants as I mark them. A1 is that blank copy of the receipts. This will be A2, which is a letter packet dated July 2nd, 2026 from Ms. Adis, and attached to it are various sheets of paper that constitute the application as well as the 200-foot list, and it is a total of 8 pages. I have numbered the pages, and I have marked A2 with today's date, 7/16/2026, and with my initials. And just so you know, as applicants and attorneys, the rules of evidence are relaxed before a land use board. I'm not telling you that these are being put into evidence. I'm merely marking them for identification. And I just ask you to look through and tell me, that's your signature there, ma'am?
Yeah.
It's a copy of your letter.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Adis is answering, and it's A2. And just take a quick look through there, and these are all the materials that you sent, other than the others that I'm about to show you.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Can you both raise your right hand? Thank you. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. It's kind of been a long night. Okay. Before me, and the applicants have since gotten and received more green cards for what they're worth, but in the submission, they gave us 21 green cards, and they have more, which they will present to us by email, hopefully tomorrow or whenever, which probably is more of, there was a total of 30, this is what we have is 21 of them. This is the one side of the green card, which shows several people signing for these things. As I said, there's someone named KD or SD on 5 or 6 of these. But then some are, like this one says Heather Borst. You know, some of them actually do have the names on them. They do not have the addresses. And for the record, there is 21 sheets in what has now been marked as A3 with my initials and today's date of 7/16/2028. And take a quick look at that, Ms. Adis, and do you identify that as part of your submission from July 2nd?
I did.
Did I accurately describe that those are the green cards? They're not green in the colors, but they are one side of the green card, right?
Yes.
Okay. And here, which is A4, again with my initials and today's date, is the certified white slips. And again, there is no address. There's no address, but the post office stamped each one of these, and there are 30 of them. What didn't happen was there's a little sticky on the white slip that you take the strip of the postal number assigned to each envelope. You take the strip of that, this little thing here, and you put it on the green card. Postal worker didn't do that. Though she charged for doing that, she did not do that. So that was a deficiency. And again, I'll ask you, I've numbered the pages 1 through 30, if that was part of your submission that was given on July 2nd.
Yes.
Okay, now we're at the last piece of evidence for the record, A5, 7/16/2026, AMR. This is a copy of what they submitted yesterday. Again, there's 11 pages. There's my scribble on the side of this, which shows received, the number of mailings, the page numbers. That's my scribble. And then when you read through them, you can see that there are some addresses. They are not full addresses. Each entry on this very long receipt that goes on, so they had to copy that. Each entry on there says the town and state where the piece of mail went. Doesn't have a name, but it's still a tracking number that was assigned that we can look at. Now, one of the things that we can do to supplement a mailing, which wasn't done yet but could be done, is to go onto the U.S. Postal Service website and look for the electronic delivery and see what that has. I do believe that one mailing was returned to sender as unclaimed or undeliverable, so they got that whole envelope back. I'm sorry to be so long-winded. Can you just take a look?
No, that's fine. I mean, it's a very unusual situation.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
As long as you're comfortable legally with the notice and
I will
you sign
provide
the
that.
affidavit to
Yes.
indemnify, then, I mean, I don't think there's, I don't, but I don't speak to the board. You know, I think legally you broke it down fine. I appreciate that everybody got to work together on, you know, getting the candidates. I just have one question. The notice was correct, right?
The notice was correct, yes.
Great.
There, you know, lawyers write things differently than persons who don't do land use.
Okay.
Sometimes they forget that they need to say what the condition is and what the variance is. It always has to be both
Sure.
sides of the
But
equation.
you
So just, so I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah.
our notice did state the variance
Yeah.
and the code section and the condition, and I would just note for the record, and I think you've already said it, but I'll just reinforce it. The notice is the notice that we were provided by Ms. Dickert, by the town of Bradley Beach, and we completed that notice and assumed, maybe, I don't know, incorrectly, that filling out that notice would satisfy this board. It was provided to us by the board, and same thing with the affidavit. We filled out the affidavit. We've got one line of, like, but it's incorporated by reference, the variance code number, but we're filling out forms provided to us by the borough.
Yeah. And we're
So
going.
I, you know, I appreciate maybe others create their own affidavits or their own notices, but we felt comfortable relying on what had been provided to us by this
Yeah.
board.
And just for the record, the affidavit wasn't appropriately notarized, but regardless, I'm gonna work through with them. We're gonna get an affidavit that should basically incorporate what they did.
Okay.
And the extra thing that we just got yesterday, and we'll use the reference to the exhibits that I've marked today, and we'll work that through.
Okay.
So that will be done. It won't change what your decision is. I think the green cards, the extra green cards that they have, will help us, because we know that there were 30 and we have 21 back. So we'll see, and one that was.
Pretty good percentage.
We'll figure about that. The only other thing, do you have anything else you think you need to add?
I would just add, I think that our affidavit was appropriate and that is what is required to prove that the mailing happened under the law. I agree completely that it's clear that return receipt is not required, nor is the submission of green slips and white slips. Like, what is under the law effectively proof for this board that we did the mailing is an affidavit. I think the reference to it not being completed appropriately is I signed it and she's a notary, and we'll get a third party to notarize it so that there can be no kind of potential misunderstanding about the quality of that affidavit. Like, certainly we're both officers of the court and we feel like we're being very transparent, and we would never obviously attest to something in a notarized form or submit it in an official proceeding that wasn't fully accurate. We're under oath right now. You can ask me any question about how we comported it. And I will say, I almost apologize for us taking up your time here on this topic. If I had to do it all over again, I never would have relied on the U.S. Postal Service professional who told us in a slightly annoyed tone, like, I've got it, come back in an hour, like, you know, and we relied on the fact that she said she had done it appropriately. And so obviously we wish we could unwind that and ask a lot of questions of her and like make sure that we didn't waste this board's time in that manner. But we have our neighbors here who can tell you they've received the notice. I don't want to speak on their behalf. I know I'm under oath, but we feel very confident that everybody appropriately received the notice, which is why we have no concerns about indemnification.
So to that point, I'd just like to point out for the record, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons, and this lady here, what is your address, ma'am?
I'm 200 Fletcher Lake Avenue.
And that's the property directly next to the.
Yes, I share the driveway.
The shared driveway, okay.
Yes.
So thank you. Did you receive a notice in the mail?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, your name?
My name?
Did you are you?
No, I'm not related to that.
Okay. So, correcting the record, only 4 people, but that's okay. The couple in the back, did you receive a notice?
I did.
Okay, very good. The gentleman, did you receive the notice?
Yes.
And it came by certified mail, right?
Yes.
That's certified mail, so we appreciate your being here. We're not going to hear this tonight.
Well, let's look at the bright side.
Yeah.
It's not in the north end of town, there's not 61 notices, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Anne Marie, I have a question.
Yes.
Just to clear out my understanding, do you have evidence that they sent the letters to whom they needed to send it to?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. It's not perfect evidence, but it is evidence. There is evidence that 30 mailings were done. They paid for 30 mailings. They paid for 30 return receipts. They got things back because their name was on it. The crutch, the problem is we can't match it up to the 200-foot list. But you can make a reasonable inference from it. And the reasonable inference would be there were 30 mailings and there are 30 names on the 200-foot utility list. So you make a reasonable
And also the
inference.
receipt says the city and the state.
Yes.
But not even a street address, though. I know the names, but
Yeah.
not even a street address.
Yeah. But many of them are
But
out of
again,
state.
I
so
think
we
it's
can-
worth noting, I think you already said it, right, that what's required under the Bradley Beach Ordinance, right, 6031 is an affidavit, not the return receipt. So like, that's extra and above, and I know that's your common practice, but to the extent that you're concerned about future litigation or whatever was referenced here, I think you're on solid ground, I'm not your lawyer, but I feel like I'm on solid ground, and I'm apparently gonna get sued too if anything goes wrong, so,
I
you know.
just would like to confirm that you accept the risk, you're willing to take the risk, and you agree to indemnify the board should there be any question about the notices.
Yes.
Okay, so both of them
Okay,
indicated
so-
on the record,
On
yes.
the record, okay, so should we just poll the board?
Well, I think that's fine, you
That
don't
we
need to.
agree with your determination legally and the applicant's testimony?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, to do this appropriately and legally, what we are going to do is give you the next hearing date, and we are gonna announce to the public the next hearing date, and there will be no further notice requirement. And that's gonna be on the
20th of August?
what?
The 20th
Yes,
of August?
August 20th.
Yeah, is that what it is, August 20th?
August 20th.
So, members of the public, the hearing date for this matter will be on August 20th, 2026, starting at, well, you come to, at the start of our meeting, which is 6:30, and it'll be heard sometime after 6:30. And that's your notice too. And then I'll be in touch with you on the
Well,
application.
they're gonna be first on the calendar.
Okay, so, first on the calendar and hopefully
They
nothing
might be the
else.
only one on the calendar.
Great, thank you.
That being said, the audience just said, I only own part of the driveway, so are we gonna get another application for, block 69, lot 1, because it's the same violation?
Which is this, I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Karen Scott.
Okay. You're the owner of the property next door?
I am.
Okay. Is there
As
any,
of 2024.
is there any?
And my father owned the property when this whole matter came into existence in 2020.
Okay, so.
I did not have anything to do with this, so.
Okay, so, but you are the only owner currently of the property?
Correct.
Okay, so that's all we need to know.
Since I'm under oath, I can testify, right? Ms. Scott's father was the owner at the time.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into the substance of our application, but if you look at the pictures of the driveway prior to our enhancement of the driveway, it was a bit of a eyesore, and there was a chain link fence down the middle, and we all agreed that we would clean it up, and he agreed to also fix the broken apron and sidewalk, so we did it together and we paid for it jointly. Ms. Scott was not the owner at the time, it was her father who's deceased.
Correct.
But
So-
it's the same violation on another property.
Yes.
So how do we give half a variance?
Well,
I never run across this.
So these property owners are seeking the variance for their property. As to Ms. Scott, I don't know whether she received a violation. I do know that she contacted Christie, and Christie told me we sent her the application. So we're gonna follow up with that, or we'll follow up with the code enforcement as to what happened with the charge, with the violation.
The violation was dismissed without prejudice
I see. By the court?
by the court.
But whose violation?
My
Hers.
violation.
Your violation.
Since the attorney for the town felt that this was, he said the problem wasn't going away, but that I had inherited this problem, and that he did not feel that I needed to pay the fine, but that I needed to decide, and I do need to decide whether to file I will file an application for a variance. But I was hoping to get an idea of whether this was going to be approved or not
Yeah.
before, and then I would have to pay to have the driveway ripped up if it is not approved.
Yeah.
Do we know what the process was leading up to the citation of this?
Well, I can tell you briefly that, from my understanding, this was a code enforcement generated summons.
I understand
Just
that,
from the usual, what code enforcement officers do is drive around and see if there's violations. And they cite where necessary. Sometimes there's a call to them or
Of
not.
course, and I understand that, but I guess this is the second applicant now that we've seen with these really lengthy retroactive citations that are going back years and years. And I don't know if this is a problem of the applicant or if it's more of a problem of the town. And I'm wondering if we could get more insight exactly is the process and the
Yeah.
priorities of the
Well,
code
I
enforcement.
can speak to you about that, but I'm not gonna go into detail on the record tonight. And the applicants will probably raise some of the things that occurred with them as part of their defense as to why it wasn't done quite by the book,
No, I
but
did
it
read-
was
I did
done
read
partially
the
by the book.
documentation, so I have that.
And there are additional documents that are being reviewed at this time that we received today through Christie's work with the Code Enforcement Office. So we're gonna take a look at that. They'll be shared with these applicants, and I'll have to look at for the neighbor. But I appreciate the neighbor stating what she has done. She realizes that there's an application here and that she bears responsibility for the things on her side. The dismissal without prejudice means that the court preserved the right to reinstate that charge as to that property because he dismissed it without prejudice. Whether or not the Code Enforcement Office participated in that, a lot of times they go to court and they talk and they work things out, and in this instance, that could have been a workout. We're gonna dismiss this now, go see what happens with the board, and then you, Ms. Scott, we will deal with you after we have the applicants come in. So,
Should we have the zoning officer here for the meeting?
Code
Yes,
enforcement,
yes.
code enforcement.
That would be great. Sorry.
That's certainly, the
Because
board
the-
has the ability to issue subpoenas for people to come and testify. I don't know that we need to do that.
If board members have that question about, enforcement, then,
Yeah.
we could answer that question, how we got here.
Yeah, so I will talk with the borough attorney tomorrow and let them know that we want to have the code enforcement. I'll leave that up to the borough decision. I don't represent the borough or the code enforcement office. So they may say to me, we need a subpoena. So a lot of times I get people who, one department in the town needs the board to do something, and sometimes we need a subpoena between entities, so there probably would be.
I think having context for why we're seeing this surgence of retroactive, very old. Yes, and
What was the other one we
if that's
saw?
really, if that's
Oh,
really
Carolyn.
us to
Right.
work on, or is that something the borough needs to
Well, we do have a new,
revisit their process?
we do have a new zoning officer, I think, right? Jen,
Yes.
you have a new zoning officer?
Zoning and code are both.
And zoning and code.
are both new, but these did not get generated from the zoning officer, they came from code
Yeah.
enforcement.
But,
So-
I would do, a cost-benefit analysis on coming in here a couple times for these, now we're looking at another application as opposed to having the contractor who didn't get the permits too.
I don't wanna speak out of turn, but
Sure.
she's smart to do it. We've already spent $2,300 on this
Yeah.
process to address an issue that has been in place since September of 2020.
And was addressed in
And was addressed at the time, and so for her to see whether we get rejected in our variance application is fiscally responsible, because it probably would have cost us $2,300 to just rip up a beautiful,
This is what we're
gorgeous
doing.
driveway apron that's fully functional and pave it over with concrete.
That's not lost on me.
And frankly, we're sitting here with a little bit of regret, but we thought like this was the appropriate avenue to take because it seemed wasteful. But we'll talk about that in August. But
Oh, that sounds
good on Miss Scott. Like,
Do you
who's
have
the idiot here? It's me.
Anything else? Or
You put that under oath.
We're happy with the determination. We'll-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we want to proceed and we're ready to go. We appreciate your indulgence and again,
And
we
though-
learned a lot about certified mail and we won't make these mistakes again. And I'm sure you guys have too.
Okay, let me just, for the record, we didn't take the roll call. All were in favor of the
Yeah.
determination, right?
Yes.
And there were no nays, all A's, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your
All
time.
in favor. Thank you for your patience.
It's not even 10 o'clock yet.
Appreciate it. No, it's fine. I'm going to give you a packet of each one of these. So you have it in your records.
Yeah, everything else is tomorrow.
I do. Back to that.
No, we're just.
Any
discrepancy between the notice being but they're going to apply a new document, and they're gonna accept responsibility until the borough comes moving forward with it. So you're not out another $800, these are like it's you, they're at least, I think $11 a piece when you do certified deliveries.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to just, review of business, if we could, just for minutes. How is the schedule, you know?
All right.
Unless anyone else has.
All right, thank you.
How is the schedule progressing?
The schedule is progressing. So we got through those two.
Okay.
Bonus, and we got through the resolution finally for Hair 406 Second Avenue is on the calendar for August 20th.
Okay.
We still have the two that we had carried some time ago. They're gonna do new notice for October.
October, okay, that was.
The one may not be coming back at all, they may withdraw. The other one, I don't know what's happening. There was another gentleman that we sent for deficient notice, that was on the Cape. He had contacted me and said that he hired an attorney, they were hiring a planner, they were revising the plans, and he would get back to me when he was ready, because he's gonna have to submit revised plans for review prior to being scheduled anyway. So he hasn't given me a date yet, or requested a date yet. And I have two, applications that were severely incomplete, so we're waiting on resubmission.
So you don't know.
So potentially we have 1, 2, if they all come back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 applications in the pipeline.
But if we break them down by the month, you only have the one for August.
Just one for August.
And so it appears that even upon a review, they wouldn't be ready if someone got there. So you could add one more there.
I will, if they get something to me.
Okay, and then- So then October we have the two, and then September you possibly could have one.
Possibly have more. I mean, and it depends what happens in October. I don't necessarily know that I would put either one of those on October, because, well, I mean, if neither one of those are ready for October, then I could certainly put the other ones
It's
on,
not
if they're
like
not
you have 20
September.
applications in order.
I would have 5. And
Yeah.
some of them might not even happen, so.
Okay.
I know for sure 3 are gonna be coming, I just don't know when.
Okay, great. Anyone else have any new old business? Then I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in
Thank you very
favor?
much for your work.
And all day.
Give me 1 sec, I gotta stop the recordings.
I know, you're absolutely right. And this is,
Probably has.
Someone should actually step up and man up. Seriously.
and
You're getting paid.
the zoning officer name is not on. Did you have that? At all? Yeah, there's a lot of verbiage.
A lot of